So the CPI data came in today and it was meant to be good news. It turned out that the price of Bitcoin reacted pretty negatively to what is essentially really good news. Inflation is slowing down. It was expected to come in at 3.1%. It came in at 3%, meaning that a rate hike seems less likely as there is less of a need to quell inflation. With the previous month's inflation standing at 4%, it's dropped 1% in the span of a month. So you would, of course, expect some positive price impact on the price of Bitcoin. But of course, this is Bitcoin that we're dealing with. And what does Bitcoin do on good news? It goes down. Because why would Bitcoin go up on good news? There's no point, is there? There's just no point in Bitcoin going up on good news. What's the point? There's just why bother? Why bother going up when you can just go down? The entire stock market, everything today is on the up, and Bitcoin just goes, yeah. Just don't fancy it, to be honest. If you look at what happened on the stock market, on the news, price rise, nice bull pen outwards, probably going to rise again tomorrow. Bitcoin, on the same 5-minute time frame, good news comes out, price spike, dump, pump, dump. Why? Just why? It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense at all. But on the whole, it presents a nice buying opportunity because now the fundamentals have changed. The CME group is yet to update their Fed Watch tool. Last time I checked it, I'm just giving that page a quick refresh now, and that'll let us know what the likelihood of a rate hike is in the next month or so. Yeah, they're yet to update this. Currently is standing at 92%, but I expect this bar is going to drop down tomorrow. And when that bar drops to the downside, you'd expect this bar, again, it has to go to the upside. The likelihood of a rate hike is probably going to decrease over the course of the next month. But again, the bullish catalyst here would be, look, if there's no rate hike next month, zero, the market is going to go absolutely batty. It's been 13 days and 20 hours time, the next rate hike. And if there is no rate hike at that period of time, Bitcoin will go scatty if the percentages stay as they are right now. What a bizarre day. Let's discuss it. Let's analyze the price of Bitcoin. Let's discuss where the price of Bitcoin could potentially be heading next. And of course, if you are interested in that, do drop a like on today's video. Let's try and get one like. Let's try and get one comment. Somebody out there, press that like button. I know that you're capable of it, and I'd appreciate it very much. And let's crack on, shall we, with this bizarre day. Anyway, starting out, Bitcoin, shat the bed. It is what it is. It's one where I like my own literal descriptions of things. You know, you got analysts on YouTube that go, oh, yes, it's dropped down. No, it shat the bed. That's what it did. It shat the bed. And so that's why you watch this channel, for a bit of honest analysis here. It went, and then that's what happened there, and this is the bed. Now, the bed being the level of support, it came into it. Pardon the pun. I'm full of them today. $30,267 was kind of the official low that we hit. $30,389. We do appear to be forming some level of support here. This is a long-term level of support. If we zoom out on this chart right here, basically this long-term level of support basically dates back for a very, very long period of time. The likelihood that we hold it seems pretty strong at this point in time. It'd be pretty shocking, to be honest, to see Bitcoin's price drop all the way back down to 30k to this another lower level of support here. That would be pretty surprising, to be honest. Wouldn't really expect to see that. Tomorrow, if we look at when news has happened in the past, in recent times, when we've had good news, this was a good news event, can't remember what it was, and so was this. Both occasions we dropped to the downside and then pumped back to the upside fairly shortly after. I'm kind of expecting a similar scenario again here. I'm expecting good news causes a drop to the downside in Bitcoin's price. Ultimately, Bitcoin is just ranging at the moment between 30,000 and 31,500, and then when it's finished ranging, I'd expect it to break back to the upside. So I'm pretty excited for when that does occur. But for now, essentially, when we're looking at the price of Bitcoin, what you'd expect to see at this point would be a bounce, and it'd be a bounce back up to the level here around $31,000. It looks like a solid long position, to be honest, right now. Let's have a look at some of these indicators that we've got. Let's go to the basic ones first of all, your RSI, your MACD. Let's have a look at them on the hourly. On the hourly, yeah, you're looking fairly well bottomed out there on your RSI, and your MACD is looking, again, fairly well bottomed out. It's a nice little price reset that's happened today. If we look at it on a slightly higher time frame, the 4-hour, we've technically crossed bearish, and so you'd expect further downside momentum. So, of course, watch the downside level of support. The downside level of support is $30,000. We lose that level, it will more than shit the bed. I shouldn't swear, sorry. Did I swear earlier? I can't remember. I think I might have done. I can't remember. Either way, it'll drop to the downside. And then at that point, you know, $25,000 happens again. It just barts around, and we have another horrific 3 months of nothing happening. At the same time, look, I think we get this bounce here. That is the final bounce. This is ultimately a liquidity grab. As far as I'm concerned, what's happened today is a liquidity grab. It's not necessarily market makers pushing the price of Bitcoin around, but certainly somebody's pushing the price of Bitcoin around. If you understand, can I show you here on... Yeah, I can. I should have a tab open for liquidations somewhere. Let me find it. Liquidations. Bitcoin liquidations. That's the one on coinglass.com if you're wondering where to get this stuff. The liquidation heat map. Let's watch it. Over the past hour, nothing really. But if we look at the past 24 hours, you'll see that's what the market makers were after. If you look at the fees that are generated from liquidating $32 million in positions, it's a significant amount of positions. A bunch of Ethereum longs were liquidated when it popped to the upside, and then a bunch of Bitcoin longs were liquidated when it dropped to the downside. Everybody's getting liquidated. Like it's kind of crazy. If you look at the 24-hour rect here, $65 million wrecked in the past 24-hour period. That's pretty intense. That's some pretty intense volume being generated from pushing the price of Bitcoin up and down. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Because it pains me to say it, this could last for another 15 days. I don't want it to. Ultimately, I'm going to play the support and resistance levels. But it could last another 15 days. At the same time, that's 15 more days for you to save up, get payday, buy some Bitcoin. Don't trade it, just buy it. Put some in a Bitcoin wallet. I put all of the income that I earn into Bitcoin. I might spend that Bitcoin on other things. But for the period of time that I have it, I don't put it in a bank account. I put all of my money into Bitcoin. And if you want the best place of which you should be buying Bitcoin, currently it's SWISSBORG, and you'll find a link for SWISSBORG, I think, in today's video description. BYBIT's pretty good as well. SWISSBORG fees are slightly lower, especially if you have a premium account. TAP is also on TAP. What am I forgetting TAP for? TAP's amazing for it. TAP's fees are the same as SWISSBORG's fees, but you don't need the you don't need any coins initially. If you do have TAP coins, like, you get massive discounts on the fees. You also get discounts on a TAP debit card. That's like the thing that I talk about all the time here. XTP coin, the price has been going down for a while now, and it's got really nice levels of support here. It's a pretty strong level to be buying, but TAP is an amazing opportunity right now as far as I'm concerned, because when you look at it on the daily and you look at where it is all time, considering this is a fully regulated fintech company with a lot of things going for it, I'm pretty excited about the future of TAP. Like, can you imagine when he gets back up to these levels up here on 2,400 Satoshis? Like, when he gets back to those levels, currently being, it's a nice thought, isn't it? It'll get back there. Just one day. One day it'll get back there. And I'll profit off it very significantly, and I look forward to that day. But yeah, TAP's another place to go buy Bitcoin. It's probably the easiest place in terms of when you have a lot of money to deal with an application. Their system seems pretty good. I always get caught on KYC level 3 on SWISSBORG. Anyway, I'm digressing. Both applications are fantastic. Both of them are linked in today's video description, I think. Either way, moving back over to the price of Bitcoin, yep, it looks pretty decent-ish, finding this level of support here. We need to close the daily, hopefully around 30,400. We close the daily above 30,400. We close it still in this range right here, and that'll look okay in terms of how the daily candles are lining up. If you look at how the daily candles are lining up, I need to zoom in a little bit on this chart. Come on, boom, reset. There we go. We close here. I mean, to be honest, it's going to close. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. Why does my chart... I think it's because I use the Heiken Ashi candles. You know what I could do? I could switch back here to normal candles, and it'd give us an accurate representation of the chart. There we go. But if we close above these levels here, we're closing above this level of support. That looks pretty decent. You can see here there's a lot of liquidity in this range. And let me know, actually, in the comment section. Do you prefer a blue chart with blue and white lines? Or do you prefer the Heiken Ashi chart here with red and green lines? Let me know, red on green or blue and white. I'd be interested to know, to be honest, because I don't know which ones people prefer. I personally prefer this one, but it's up to you. I'll do whatever you say. Either way, moving on, Bitcoin dominance again, smacking to the downside a little bit today, but overall it's been on the up. Ethereum finding levels of support is the best way to describe what's going on here, although over the past kind of 25 to, I mean, yeah, it's been dropping a little bit again. It was up pretty significantly in terms of its Bitcoin value today, but again, it started dropping back to the downside, struggling to find some momentum in the Ethereum markets right now. That's largely because Bitcoin is very much in charge. Important thing to point out on this chart here for Ethereum would be slightly different than the price of Bitcoin in that it is technically forming a bear flag. This is something that is important to pay attention to, because if we break below this level right here, around 1,864, well, that means it's going to go down to around $1,800 again, around like these levels, 1,830, potentially a little bit lower as it wicks below and then bounces back to the upside. So just watch for that, because it might be a potential good short position of which you could be opening. If you are wondering where you can trade, you'll find a link for BYBIT in today's video description. BYBIT is the exchange that I use for trading. So I buy my Bitcoin on tap and SWISSBORG, and then I trade it on BYBIT, which again, you'll find links for everything in today's video description. But now it's time to discuss. Now, we're going to do the crypto news in just a second. The other thing I want to point out is the DXY, which is the value of the US dollar, which is one of the things that give me confidence that tomorrow the price of everything is going to rise up fairly significantly. The DXY crapped the bed. I think, yeah, we can say that word. It went down. It looks like a slide that goes off a yacht. Because the bottom is falling out of the dollar right now. The dollar lost 1% of its value today. It's crashing like crazy. I've been talking about this for a while now. We keep getting rejected. It is going to break to the downside. When it officially breaks like properly to the downside, it is absolutely buggered, and it'll keep dropping and keep dropping, and then we'll get Bitcoin bull market. Let me zoom out on this chart to show you what happens. And I know I've shown it to you in the past. We talked about the price of Bitcoin and that it generally rises around 2,000% in the bull market. But this is when a bull market begins. This is when it ends. This is on the value of the US dollar. Now, the US dollar, of course, during the peak of inflation, went up very significantly in terms of its value because there was not enough of them in supply. Since then, there has been money printing and all this other stuff. So this is money printing. Money printing, and then lessening supplies of money, and then higher interest rates. So this is when interest rates are rising. Interest rates have stopped rising. Interest rates have started falling. You're seeing the value of the dollar drop significantly. And to be honest, that's when the bull market will end. It's just a question of when will Bitcoin really start kicking in? I think that Bitcoin will start kicking in pretty soon. I'm excited for it. But it is time to discuss today's crypto news. Of course, kind of already discussed the fact that Bitcoin CPI, or rather the US CPI, has come in at 3%, which is good news. 7-Eleven has launched free Slurpee NFTs for its 96th anniversary. If you want to find out more about these and if you can get one, you'll find a link in today's video description for Crypto Saving Expert, the best crypto news website and the best crypto education website. Let me show you the education that we've got right here. You can take all of these things, all of these courses for absolutely free. The Bitcoin one, personal favorite of mine. You can click on any of these different things. You can click on like start module and whatnot, and you can go through all these different things, and it'll teach you so much about Bitcoin that you didn't already know. It teaches about the history of Bitcoin, how it works. Everything about Bitcoin is in this course. At the same time as having that, we've also got guides on every single exchange here. If you ever want to know how to use an exchange, or you want to know which one is best for you, you can find out all about them here, as well as decentralized exchanges, how to improve your trading skills. All of that stuff is on this website. All the stuff that's in my brain, and it's all completely free. Don't want your money for it. Anyway, moving back on, today's cryptocurrency news. MicroStrategy's share price could rally to $510, analysts have predicted. Pretty interesting stuff. If you want to read more about it, go to Crypto Saving Expert. Department of Justice moves over to $300 million in associated assets with Silk Road. $300 million in Bitcoin. It's a lot of Bitcoin to be moving, but they're not really doing much with it. SEC versus Library, which is an altcoin. Judges refuse to clarify if the token is a security or not, further complicating the case there. And finally, no, that's not a news article. That's just the price of XLR, which is up 3% today. Pretty nice considering. I mean, to be honest, pretty good to be honest. One of the upsetting things, I guess, today is yesterday this trade was $40,000 in profit. Today it's $27,000, so technically 13,000 down overnight, but it is what it is. It's been an interesting day. I wish it would just break to the upside, to be honest. That's the one thing that it's gonna do it. It's gonna get there, and you're not gonna have a trade in when it does do that. You know you're gonna be sat on the sidelines because you're gonna have either been liquidated by over leveraging yourself, getting too giddy, or you're just going to go, I don't think it's going to do it. And then that one day that you don't do it, it's just going to go to the upside. And so I refuse to be that person that sits on the sidelines. I dollar cost average Bitcoin every day. I buy more and more Bitcoin every day. And at the same time as buying more Bitcoin every day, I also long Bitcoin, and I am long on Bitcoin right now from pretty much $29,000, although I have taken a long position at these levels here as well on BYBIT, for which you'll find a link in today's video description. If you want to learn more about trading, check out the links in today's video description. Everything like, you know the drill at this point. I don't need to say it. Slap a like, subscribe, and see you in the next video, everybody. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. Forgot to say goodbye then, but goodbye.